Welcome to this week's edition of Perspective. And on Saturday, the whole country was celebrating the 56th edition of the Madaraka Day in Narok County. Well, luckily I happened to be one of the media guys who were there, and that makes the subject of our discussion tonight, where we discuss a few pointers towards the president's speech on Saturday. And joining me on set, on my immediate left, is Honorable Jeremiah Ekamais, who is the MP for Loima.
Yes.
Karibu sana mheshimiwa.
Asante.
And on my extreme left, we have Wilfred, Muliro, who is a governance expert. Welcome, gentlemen, and thank you for making time. Perhaps to begin us very briefly, the president touched on Kenyans and said we need to be united. He also mentioned that Kenyans, and especially the media, should focus on the positive things that make Kenyans where, or that has taken Kenya to where we are, and to also, as we shine light on the negative aspect, where are we on unity in Kenya? Mheshimiwa.
Okay. Thank you, Bell, for that introduction and question. I think I also listened. I did not participate in the Narok Madaraka Day celebrations. Yes. But I was seated in my house seeing what was happening. Yes. And I was able to hear our President Uhuru Kenyatta really giving a very positive speech. Yes. To Kenyans. And I think on issue of unity, Kenya, the President is talking on unity, but I don't see, I don't clearly get that unity from the Kenyans themselves, from the political wing, yes. From everybody. I think everybody is taking a different direction, yes. From the issue of unity. The politicians are divided. Yes. There are those who want unity, there are those who do not want unity. The community outside there, again, they have been divided by the same political cadre. So I feel there is need really to embrace this element of unity, because Kenya can only achieve its objectives of development in as a united nation, where every person or every community member speaks on a language of unity. We speak about things that are positive. So to me, I bought that idea of the president calling for unity, yes. For all Kenyans, taking their ample time, at least an inch of your time, to talk about unity, to call for unity, yes. And to lobby for unity across the nation.
Interesting. Mr. Muliro, the president also said that never again are we going to have divisive politics. And is there a lot of negativity? Because he also mentioned the media and Kenyans to also talk about the positive as we talk about the negative that we have in Kenya.
I think two things. The first one is what Mheshimiwa has mentioned. Yes. I think you can easily say the president is talking about unity among the political class. Okay. Because it's them, you know, we are seeing a lot of, even within the ruling party, we are seeing a lot of friction. And I think when he talks about unity, he's addressing his own leaders. If they are united, Kenyans are busy, you know, battling with the issues of life. And they seem even united until the political class comes in and leads them towards a certain direction. So maybe he was 90% addressing his political class for the purposes of this country remaining united. But again, also, remember, I think he is trying very much to hype this idea of Pan-Africanism. And I think he's just repeating something that was mentioned elsewhere, that the image of Africa must be projected by our own media, you know, the positive image. Yes. Because for a long time, the image of Africa has been the image of what the European states or the journalists in the West think about Africa. So there's that that runs within him, the idea of Pan-Africanism. I think so.
Okay, let's get down to the figures. The president also said that the Wezo Fund, the Women Enterprise Fund, and also the Wezo Fund, the Women Fund, and the Youth Enterprise Fund will be amalgamated to form one fund, a Biashara Fund. What do you make of this step? Mheshimiwa.
Okay. I think these funds are there.
Yes.
In fact, they've been circulating all across the country. And I think, but the president really saying that we need to create one fund,
yes,
where all these are put. To me, it is a positive thing, because even these other little funds that have really been outside there, some for the youth, some for the women development activities, this money has not really been giving a lot of impact outside there. So, but I feel when this money is brought in one basket, and then we have a well-organized system,
yes,
which will try to really disseminate this amount to various institutions down there, again organized. I feel we will create a bit of impact. You see, our youth need empowerment. Our youth need this money. But when you get outside there, you will find our youth are really really crying.
Yes.
It's like this money has not created any impact anywhere. So there's need really to pull it, and then we need to put measures of trying to monitor this money,
yes,
and to assess what kind of impact this money has created to our youth and women across Kenya. So that is my feeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Muliro, he also talked about, still on the same, he also talked about paying or settling, for a better word, settling or dues owed by suppliers,
yes,
which will be a big boost for businessmen and those people who supply goods and services to the government. What do you make of that? Remember, there's a disclaimer that all those that do not have audit queries. Yes.
I think just to begin, to add something small to what agreeing with Mheshimiwa is this consolidation, we are avoiding the idea of duplication, leakages, misuse, and even, it's like you are multiplying corruption.
Yes.
If it works in one, so if you put in one place, the paradox of you are given money as aid and then you have to form an office, pay somebody to make sure you have it. Yes. I think when they consolidate, we have lesser offices and reducing duplication, because youth fund, welfare fund, or women funds, woman can also be a youth. But then to your question,
yes,
I think the effort which I'm seeing close also to the idea of release the money is how to jumpstart economic activities, because I think they are going down and it is just left in the hands of very few people. If you look at small enterprises are failing. So he has said these suppliers, some of them are small enterprises, they are young people, they are trying to do business with the government. And they have stayed long, especially in the counties. They have not been paid. So the idea is, if there is no audit query on, on any form of payment, release the amount. And I think it also captures the other level of corruption that normally towards the end of a financial year, you will hear government now setting up issues of seminars and everything. And when you ask, Mheshimiwa knows, they are telling you, we are clearing the money so that it is not taken back. Isn't it? That's a story that is there.
Yes,
and that is the challenge. So, and people have not been paid. They have traded with the government. So I think it is a positive thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think, aside from what the president said, I think there is a need for the president also to think about how much money we are giving as Uwezo Fund, as affirmative action, as any fund that you are donating. Like, for example, the kind of Uwezo Fund that is down there, the amount that is given to our groups as a loan, to me, it is a peanut. It is money that will, instead of even helping that person, that money will just disappear in the hands of the person who has taken the loan. And then the person again goes around crying to members of parliament, goes to some mamas in the village or to his or her parent, asking for something to enable him repay the loan. So we need to increase, to give huge amount of money for the youth, for the women, so that even when they are taking these loans, they take reasonable loans. Loans that will help them do some good income generating activities, instead of giving like in my area, they are preparing to distribute like 5 million.
Okay.
And so far, the groups that have applied or asked for that money,
yes,
there are so many more than 1,000. How do you really give this 5 million to
so
1,000 groups or even 500 groups or even
yes,
300 groups?
Yes.
So sometimes it becomes so hard even to the manager or that person or that committee, which is again being chaired with one of the administrators. So there is a need surely to do something.
Yes.
Bringing it in one basket is one thing, but surely ensuring that these people get good money that will enable them to do business is a second thing also. Yeah.
Still on the figures and business, the president also talked about making sure that small and medium enterprises will not be subjected, those who import goods will not be subjected to a second maybe checkpoint by the Kenya Bureau of Standards. Bearing in mind that Kenyans, we are experiencing an influx on counterfeit goods, will this really help or solve the problem that we have?
Maybe he's looking at me, I'll try to touch that. Yes. Then he'll bring in the political side.
Yes.
I think he also, the additional statement which I get is that once those goods have been, from the place of origin have been declared and checked,
yes,
and they are not massive, you don't need to, again, clog the port.
Subject them to additional.
This subjecting them to checking is what delays everything at the port. And remember, he's so much interested in things moving, especially for small and medium enterprises. And this is coming on the heels of, he had a meeting with those people, and he visited the inland port here at, is it Embakasi? And he saw what was happening. Some goods had stayed there for long, waiting verification again. But I think it's somehow, although there's danger, because the creative people can still shift.
It's true.
The perception is that the larger the container and massive, then there is mischief.
Yeah.
So for the small activities, they are always known. I'm bringing mobile phones or something straight there.
Yeah.
So as we try to focus on speeding up the processes, we should not fall into the trap of now again speeding up the process of receiving counterfeits in the country.
And tax evasion.
Yes.
And then again, you mentioned about goods that maybe are suspect in nature as things that the KBC need to inspect.
Yes.
But to me, I supported the idea that we avoid unnecessary inspections because it leads to a lot of backload in the port. I remember a colleague of mine who imported a vehicle sometimes back, a vehicle that took like 3 months being chipped in. When it came to Mombasa, that vehicle had to stay there for another 3 months. When he tried again to go and see what is happening, he found before now reaching to
the good
to his own commodity, there were thousands and thousands of others waiting to be inspected, which came ahead of.
Yes, an additional charge.
Let us try. I think he was trying really to reduce this kind of baggage at the port. That's what I.
Perhaps we're going to get back to the new currency, of which it has generated a lot of debate. But for the first time, we've had a president talking about the mental state of residents in Kenya. And more so, he urged around 5 ministries to work on a policy that will check on this problem. Mheshimiwa.
Okay, I think I support that idea.
Yes.
Because as a politician, I am able to, I have stayed in politics for quite some time, but I was growing from small to now the position I have. I've been a councillor during the defunct councils. And then again, I grew up, became a member of county assembly. I was a councillor for 2 terms, and then MCA, now a member of parliament. I just want to give you an example of my colleagues who lost who lost positions or those seats of councillors or even MCS, the state in which they are now. I think his idea was, to me, it was a very strong idea.
Yes.
Kenyans down there, because of even this corruption, has led to poverty of our people. This poverty has even made, even our local mamas, the youth we are talking about, so much frustrated and have indulged in drug abuse.
Yes.
So many things down there. Yes. So I think he was now trying to save our Kenyan community by having a system where there are people who even talk to our Kenyans who are frustrated because of 1, 2, 3 issues, maybe issues of poverty, maybe issues of drug abuse, cost of living, those kind of things, that we now try to talk to them, try to tell them the real issues about life, so that every Kenyan feels is part of Kenya. Yeah. What do you make of that? A policy to check on the mental state of Kenyans?
I think Mheshimiwa has done the other part. And for me, I see it in, it's twofold. One, the president was trying to show the nation that we are not only dealing with the hardware, we are dealing with the welfare of the citizens, your people. Software. And then number 2 is also, the impression is that my ears are on the ground. I know what's happening, because there have been, it's an issue that people are discussing. And as a head of state, you should not be detached. So the fact that he's responding to that, and it's a noble issue because it's of concern. The work of the state is to respond to issues that are burning at that time, and more specifically, the way he says, to the people. You don't abandon them and just dwell on the hardware, the roads and the schools. Also about their welfare. So I think he politically and also morally it is correct that he touched on that. And we hope it will not just be an idea that ends there, but there will be that what he has called on interministerial, and they come up with something that will be able, as he says, not just young people. There are people who are somewhere, members of parliament, as he says there, retired people. Nobody knows what happens to them. Yes.
Mheshimiwa, we need to wind up because of the interest of time. We need to pick up the pace. You come from a region where security has been a challenge for quite a long time, and the government gave a directive that all police reservists to the word disarmed. What do you make of that?
Okay. I think I did not really get that the government gave some directive that disarmament should be done. I think as a member of parliament for Loima constituency, Loima constituency is one area that is prone with a lot of insecurity. And then again, it is a strong constituency in terms of the power of the arm. Many people are armed, especially on NPR, arms. So we sensed there was something happening just amidst the community, that the NPR were called to some places at the headquarters in Lodwa to come and earn some wage. When they were going there, you signed some 10,000 shillings, and then they told you put the firearm down here. So it was not something that was announced to all Kenyans or even to the northern part of Kenya that this exercise is going on. But thank God, some of us were able, myself and Cameron and others, were able to raise this very tough issue. But the minister now in charge, the Minister for Interior, Mr. Matiang'i, called for an urgent meeting. I think it was even us who requested for the meeting through majority leader. So the meeting, I think we happened to have met with the minister. In fact, when we listened to him, he had something positive, something that will take Kenya a bit far. But we told him the style in which he has applied that formula, saying we cannot harm a community or cannot arm communities against other communities. Like now we are giving Turkana people firearms, and then you are giving Pokot, then those of Tiati, giving Baringo South, you're giving those different areas. You see, according to him, these guns will not be for protecting Kenyans. It will be, again, guns for fighting the neighbors. So that is why he said that is the reason why he was doing that. He wanted to vet and get who are these good people who are owning these firearms. Are they using them prudently? Are we giving these firearms to criminals, people who have criminal records, previously criminal records? To me, that was a positive thing. But we told him there are areas, those special areas like now Turkana West, Turkana East, Turkana North, Loima, my constituency, because we border Uganda, and then Turkana West borders South Sudan, Turkana North borders Ethiopia. And then inside here, we border other tribes again that are seriously warring. So we told him to treat those areas as special areas, not just to storm them and pick the firearms, because outside there, those neighbor states, we have those military groups, which again fighters, they steal from us, they do a lot of, they kill people. So we told them to treat them as special areas. And then even these other areas that are inside, you see, if you go to Loima now, we border Pokot North.
Yes.
And the terrain of Pokot North is a canopy area. It's bushy, it's hilly. So sometimes disarming those people, becomes extremely hard. So you need really to put strong measures of disarming the people. That is what led to him now creating a committee of 12, which I am a member, and even my governor, Governor Nanok, is also a member to that committee, Lojangapuo, Tiati, member of parliament, and those are the Cameroon, those from Baringo areas. Yes, from that committee, so that together we think on how best we can approach this disarmament exercise instead of just storming the people and picking their guns while the corridors outside there are warring. They are not really friendly.
Okay. Because of interest of time, we unfortunately we've run out of time. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming. But we'll ask, do you support the new currency? So,
is it supporting or the idea behind the
new currency?
Yeah, it's a good idea to remove the state from capture by a few elites.
Mushiba, do you?
Fight corruption.
Just 1 second.
Yeah, personally, I support the whole idea. Though there is something now I'm seeing from the media, from the Twitter, people are challenging the issue of the portrait or the sculpture, and maybe the monument. Then we need now to define the difference between the monument or the sculpture and the portrait.
Okay, thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming. And unfortunately, we've run out of time. Then the president did talk a lot about so many aspects, but we are, because of interest of time, we're able to touch on a few. Well, that's perspective for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next week, well, business is next.